The views, opinions, and information shared during the KC Youth Service podcast series belong solely to the individuals involved. Any recommendation or advice given during the podcast is general in nature and does not replace the need to seek professional advice where necessary. If you are in need of urgent assistance, please call 000 or the Kids Helpline on 1-800-55-1800.
The City of KC proudly acknowledges the traditional owners, KC's Aboriginal communities and their rich culture, and pays respects to their elders past, present and future. We acknowledge Aboriginal people as Australia's first peoples and as the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we work and live. I would also like to acknowledge that we are recording this podcast today, gratefully, on Bunurong country.
Hello. Welcome to episode 7 of the KC Youth Services podcast. I'm your co-host, Yomith. I'm a committee member here at Ignite Entertainment. And this is my co-host, Alma.
Hi, I'm Alma, and like Yomith, this is my second year at Ignite.
Nice. So joining us today, we have our very own Dhee from the committee.
Hello.
And Jasmine.
Hey.
Also from the committee.
In this episode, we're going to be discussing all the ins and outs of KC's FReeZA program, as well as having a chat about what we do, why we do it, and how you can get involved.
Awesome. So on to the questions. What are we doing here today? What are we going to be?
So as I said at the start, we are kind of just all of us are FReeZA members, and we're all just going to be discussing how cool it is because...
And why you should get involved.
Oh yeah, most definitely not only are our events super cool, as being a volunteer in our committee is also really cool.
Well, we'll start off with Dhee. So Dhee, how long have you been in FReeZA for? And tell us a little bit of how you got involved. How'd you find out?
Seems like centuries. I started when I was Alma's age, actually. Funnily enough, I make fun of her being for a literal child because she's 14 and I'm 19 now.
Turning 15.
But believe it or not, I was her age when I started. So that would take me to being fifth or sixth year.
So is that in FReeZA or just involved in the City of KC?
No, in this committee, FReeZA committee, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I was involved for a couple of years, various other stuff beforehand, but then on the committee since year 9, yeah.
How'd you find out about it,
cool.
by the way?
I started actually, I think first I did a film workshop in this very building, actually, in this youth centre, that I met a couple of people running it at the time, and they're like, oh, apply for this, it's super fun. I'm a musician myself, so it's running music events. That's something, I should learn more about. So yeah, that's how I found out and signed up.
Awesome. What about you, Jasmine? What brought you to Ignite?
Well, I've only been here this year, but I actually first found out about it from my music teacher, no less. Because he knew that I wanted to, my dream job was to do, entertainment management. That's a career. And he said a great way to sort of get involved and get that sort of build that resume for uni. He briefly mentioned FReeZA to me. And I then went, on the internet and I did some research and I learned more about it. And then I got in contact with Veronica and then I did the interview and here I am.
Nice. That's also kind of sounds like our two stories, doesn't it?
Yeah, mine was the most generic thing. So basically what was this, 2 years ago? This is peak quarantine, by the way. Everyone in my family was getting mad at me for not having hobbies. But the thing is, one thing I was really interested in was obviously the MC type thing, just being out there kind of in the community.
Which is pretty cool.
And also guys, if you're thinking of signing up for FReeZA, most definitely do it because it looks great on resumes. It looks amazing.
Yes.
It does, yeah. Actually, adding on to that, all the volunteer work that FReeZA does, it's recognized by a lot of jobs, and the volunteering in this committee was one of the reasons I got the job that I'm currently at. Yeah.
So much networking as well.
100%.
Cool. And with that, you can gain, you can connect the volunteer work you do to skills that you learn, and also you can gain that confidence. If you don't want to join just because you think you're not confident or not, resilient enough, or you think that you're not capable of doing things, don't stress about it. You can. You are confident, or at least you can gain that confidence over time.
Oh yeah, for real. There's people in our committee. That's fine. It's It's a really it's a really cool group of people we have this year.
And
we all grow together.
In terms of running events, there's so many different roles that if you're not comfortable like emceeing an event, you'll be like backstage helping out that way. So if you think you're not confident enough to be on stage, then that's completely fine, because there's whatever you want to do really at an event. There's roles for it.
You're not going to be forced to do anything you don't want 100%. To do. It's all about growing and participating in some way.
Definitely.
Also, just to say, the way that I actually found out about FReeZA was I literally searched up volunteering opportunities in the city of Casey for 13-year-olds, and this is what I found. And I signed up. I put in my email. I got a little email from Veronica, our amazing leader, being like, okay, cool, do an interview. And I did it, and it was so exciting. It was just like a really cool process. How about you?
Awesome. Me?
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to join YAC, which is Youth Action Committee.
We've actually collaborated with them a few times in the past. We haven't a couple of years. I guess COVID kind of put a stint in that, but like they're pretty cool as well. But
I feel like the city of Casey in general has there's so many like different type of events for different like communities, especially in
the growing population. It's quite useful.
For real.
For sure.
And YAC is because we're obviously a event organization committee.
Yeah, because I've never heard of it.
Yeah, YAC is there. It stands for Youth Action Committee, and they, from my understanding, they tackle different problems that the youths are facing within our community. That's my understanding of it.
So it's sort of like a call to action kind of group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Actually, building on that, Jasmine, you were talking about soft skills. Like, how do you actually apply all these skills you learn here at the committee into your life?
In terms of event management, which is what I want to do for a career, I did join this committee in hopes of, broadening my skills. And I suppose in a way that I've done that is, for example, we had our Soul Flame session. With that, I was able to get sort of a behind the scenes look and experience about what sort of goes on during a performance, as both because I performed there as well, both as a performer and, backstage. I wasn't necessarily leading, but I still had the opportunity, for example, to talk to the artists, because I was working as artist liaison, say, hey, if you need anything, I'm here, yada, yada, yada. It was that chance to sort of say, oh, this is what this job is about. This is what this job is about, Right, yeah. It was that opportunity of experiencing that.
Yeah.
We're so cool.
We are. We're honestly, actually a really cool little group of people that do so much. What do we do, Alma?
I was like, what we do? I don't know. Wait, the thing is, for me, though most of the people in our committee are very, artistically talented people, I have no, that's just not my, area. I don't do the, singing, playing instrument, doing art, any of that really.
See, that's not required though.
Yeah, that's not, honestly, it's most definitely a plus, because in the off chances where we would like an extra person to perform for our event, we have incredible people like Jasmine and Dhee who do incredible performances for our events. But we actually create music-based and art-based events for the city of Casey, and not only for the city of Casey, specifically for the youth of the city of Casey, and which is really cool because we're the city, the youth of the city of Casey. So it's we're creating this opportunity for people in the city of Casey.
Ourselves, to enjoy these events. And that's why I think they tend to really connect with these people, because they are created with their interests and their what they want to see in mind. So I think next, not just music, we're doing a food store, right?
Yeah, we do. So shout out to the event we're discussing. Little sneak peek, guys. We're actually thinking about doing a food-based event. Also, on the topic of food, guys, if FReeZA food.
Oh my God.
Another plus. Yeah. We get food nearly every night.
That's free food. That's probably one of the best parts. Free food.
Pizza, and what else do we get? Pizza. I feel like that one time where we literally just had lollies, it's just such a sugar high.
We got some hot chips.
We get hot chips. Drinks all the time, random, and honestly, we've got
non-alcoholic drinks.
We are child friendly.
Guys, another thing, FReeZA is obviously, as we make events for the youth, and it is run by the youth, it is entirely family friendly. It's no smoking, no alcohol,
alcohol and smoke-free events. Yeah,
and that means good times for the youth, obviously, because youth events.
But it's not, for example, just the session that we just had, it was like all ages, but we still had that family friendly sort of style to it. You know, it's not just solely for, you know, ages like young children to older teens. It can also branch out to, you know, adults as well. But either way, it's going to be family friendly.
Also, thank you for bringing that up, Jasmine.
Beautiful segue. Thank you so much, Jasmine. We appreciate that so much.
We recently had an event and it was called the Soul Flame Sessions. And can we say what a great success?
It was lovely. It was just lovely.
Guys, let's just pull out some numbers. We started on, I think, a Wednesday before our event, which was on Friday. I think we had 50 people coming.
Barely.
Yeah, barely.
Barely 50.
And then we were expecting, we were hoping 80 people would come. And then we were like, if we're being ambitious, we're going to get 100 people to come.
Oh.
But then...
Hello, drum roll, please. Ooh, 100 plus.
100 plus. Yeah, like...
It was pretty good.
Because I forgot the number. We got 100 plus. Honestly...
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it 180?
No, I think it was like 130.
Maybe it was 108.
I feel like
It felt like 180.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think because the atmosphere was so
Energetic.
But like it was an incredible turnout. Like because obviously COVID for the last 2 years we haven't had any in-person events for the last 2 years since 2019 was our last in-person event. So like we were like just hoping we'd get a couple of people in like just to get the vibe going, get the atmosphere, get the live music going again. We had really good turnout, which is good.
Yeah. Everyone that performed did so well. There were some performances that were full on. They were shaking before they came on stage. Everybody telling them, calm down, you'll be fine. And they did great.
They did. So supportive as well.
Did I tell you what happened after? I told them, but did I tell you?
Tell us.
I got offered another gig.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow. This is what our events lead to.
Yeah. Someone filmed me singing and put it on Instagram, and then someone contacted somehow got my number and like randomly called me saying, "Hey, just liked your singing. Do you want to come and perform at this date at this time at this place?"
Congrats.
And I'm like, can I get back to you? And I haven't gotten back to them yet, but they've offered me a gig.
Yes.
That's the power of Ignite. There you go.
Real. Our events are
Career
opportunity.
advancement.
Yeah, like I feel like it's crazy because like, you know, when like, cause I don't know, again, I'm not an artist or anything, but like I obviously like always wonder like, cause it's such a hard place to get into, like to become like a big well-known artist, especially as a local, like young artist, it must be so hard. And like, I feel like FReeZA events and Ignite events are just that opportunity. Like we had so many, like it was literally just local bands, and even our headliner, the Velvet Club, they were also actually local. Like they all lived in Melbourne, every single one of them, which was so cool.
What do you think we could have done better? Like
For real.
What do you guys think, Dhee?
It was a pretty perfect event.
I know, right?
Oh, well, I remember this one time at the beginning of the show. We had a couple of technical difficulties.
I guess those come with most live events as well.
I mean,
Yeah, they have
I feel like
Technical difficulties.
Honestly,
one
if you
thing-
didn't have one technical difficulty in a show, then it
Wouldn't be a show.
Yeah, exactly, because it's that sort of little fun, like, oh no, technical difficulty, and then it's like you're running around trying to fix it.
100%. Oh, I reckon one thing in terms of reaching out to artists and stuff like that, we only had a few artists like right before the sign-off date. So I reckon in terms of promotion, I think
branch out a bit more.
Yeah, these days promotion for events is everything. Like if you don't promote the event properly, you won't get many artists to play, or you won't get a big audience. But I reckon we did pretty good with the promotion. But in terms of getting artists in earlier to sign up,
I think we left it a little last minute.
Yeah.
So if you guys are like an artist interested in performing at an Ignite event, please follow our Instagram at ignite.freeza or lowercase, because we will be posting.
Yeah. Sure. And another thing is you don't need to be experienced with gigs. Like me, it was my very first gig that I'd ever done. I'd never done it before. I'd only ever done like in school stuff, which is completely different.
Yeah.
You know?
But you did incredible.
Exactly.
When I first started like gigging a few years ago, the like City of Casey and FReeZA events were the events that I started out as, because they're the most in terms of
it's a safe place to get experience.
Of course,
where, you're
very safe place.
Yeah,
because everything is basically helped out. Like people help you out like that. We have our own like sound engineers at the venues that we we play gigs at.
And they're really supportive of everyone there. They're understanding that, you know, you might be completely new to this, but they are
100%.
completely there to support you all the way. You know, that they help you out if you need assistance. It's honestly a really great place to start off.
Oh, yeah.
And to gain that confidence before branching out to, you know, maybe a
bars, restaurants, stuff like
some
that.
venue or something like that, which might not be as friendly.
It's also kind of like Ignite though. Like you don't have to really know event organization.
Yeah, you learn so much
It's
through
the
the
whole
community.
thing of
Yeah.
learning. You learn.
One thing I was going to point out is that we had a pretty big band from a school come and play, and they had, like all their family came, and then they left straight after their performances. I reckon that's an issue. I reckon next time there should be encouragement for the audience to stay the entire time to support all the acts.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's also like targeting, especially where we're actually targeting the ticket sales. I think we could definitely do a bit more targeting a younger audience, because I felt like the 40+ crowd was not, although they're lovely. I do love old people, but I think
Shout out Jim. Shout out Jim Cameron.
Shout out Jim.
He's done. Oh, wow.
you know what? But they have their
No pizza for you tomorrow.
No, actually, on a real note, like Veronica and Jim, even though
Coolest old people.
like
Yeah.
they are the cool old people, but actually
crying
like
in the other
they're our
Yeah, shout out,
leaders
shout
of
out.
Ignite, and
None of this could happen without them.
Yeah, honestly.
I've learned so much from their incredible presences. Guys,
love you.
guys, I'm lying. I'm actually only saying this because he's staring me down while we're recording this.
Slightly crying in the other room.
But I feel like, I don't know, like Ignite's just like such a cool opportunity. Like me, okay, like I'm not someone, again, I'm not like an arty person in the way that like I wouldn't really be interested in an event like this until I found out by doing an event like this how cool it is. Like I feel like through podcasts like this and talking about it and finding ways to like show people how we do our events and what goes into it as kids that are making this event, it shows how cool it is. As like members of the committee, I feel like we get to really like see what goes on for these events. Like that's what we do. Like every second Tuesday when we meet up in the youth center, we just plan events. Like we talk about what can we do and what do we think the youth of the city of Casey is interested in. And a music event, like we changed our ideas so much. Like we were thinking of doing a competition at the start. It didn't end up being a competition. We had amazing headliner there and we had incredible bands. Like there were like bands and individual artists and it was really good stuff. But like the way that like every meeting we would start by talking about obviously what we talked about in our last meeting, our recap. And then we would kind of just move on to how do we actually go from our idea into like planning this event. Like it happened really quickly.
Right, yeah.
Like for me, I feel like it happened so
In a span
quickly.
of like not like a month and a bit or something, we, you know, organize this event and it happened so quickly and now it's just gone. It's done.
Yeah,
and now we're looking to do our, you know, our next event and it's just like, where did the time go?
Yeah, it's incredible. And like, again, like it teaches like us so much, you know, like so every second Tuesday when we meet up over here, we have people that are doing our minutes and that's a skill. And we have our minute and we have, what's the other thing that we do? Sharing,
Like
Yeah.
running, we get to run the meetings.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
When
I haven't done that yet. I haven't done that.
I did
next?
sharing and it was so fun.
win for the week. That's the best bit.
Our favorite part would probably be like our win for the week, but it's not even just the win for the week because we always say like something like we always bring up like if something bad happened in our week, we also like it's kind of like honestly, I feel like it's like we're
a
very
family.
Yeah, it's a family.
We're all family here.
We're a close knit committee.
Some
Like
people.
You sound really convincing.
I think I'm the youngest member.
No, what's her name is?
no.
Sahar.
No, she isn't. I'm
she not?
December 27th.
Okay, it's
She's
not a
just-
competition. Okay.
No,
Maybe it is.
I don't want to
Youngest
hear.
member gets kicked off.
I've got my supporting people that are also most of us are in high school. Some of us are very old and just out of high school.
She looked straight at me when she said
In a
that.
few weeks. That's going to be me in a few weeks when I graduate.
Yikes.
But I feel like our age range is what also gives us such a great perspective. Like we've got people who are experienced in doing events now.
Yeah,
And we've also
and-
got people who have no idea and are learning
Yeah, legit. And in past years, like the age range that we kind of target for our committee, it's like 12 to 25-year-olds. And we've had like people who are like 24, 25 and basically just coming to the end of like that youth period that we target on the committee as well. So like we've had all age ranges.
It's a very broad
It is very
committee
broad,
that we have, that we invite. You know, it's not
Yeah,
it's
100%.
not exclusive to certain people.
Yeah, I feel like also because we have Veronica, who's like very well experienced in like events for the city of Casey. We've got into like we have like such like great like mentors. Like, is that the right word?
Yeah,
Like, 'cause, like,
yeah, definitely.
They're like, because like I've learned so much about how to do these kind of things. Like like, you know, like as the youth of like, I feel like as people, like this is like the opportunity for like, I could genuinely imagine one of us in our committee being the next Veronica in like 10 years,
sure,
you know,
yeah.
like this is like the pathway, like, you know.
Yeah,
'cause
and adding on to that, like I've said, we've had members in the past that are like 24, 25. And speaking of one member in particular, they wanted to actually go into youth services after finishing up on the committee, and they did their youth services degree afterwards, and I'm pretty sure they're starting to work in youth services currently.
Great.
So
It's like, it's crazy because it's honestly like, again, a pathway, like, because I feel like if you want to get involved in the city of Casey, which is such a broad city, like there's so many opportunities for like anything you're interested in. So it's like, once you get involved, like, yeah, you can drop out at any point.
pathway.
But yeah, like,
pathway to anything.
yeah,
really.
like you get so many
I
opportunities.
hope that, you know, when I do eventually get that whole career started in terms of, you know, entertainment management, that I actually do hope at one point I could, you know, just sort of pop by at an Ignite meeting and be like, hi, and maybe help out at an event or something. That'd be
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we
I don't know if I'd be
collaborate with
allowed to, but I would honestly totally do that once I get out of uni.
That actually leads on to our next question. Thank you very much again, Jasmine.
Look, I'm just that good.
This one is
Segue.
on to Dee about what do we actually do, Dee? Like, what are the processes from an idea to an event? What's that pathway? What do we actually do?
Oh, so I think in terms of the events we run, we as a committee we vote on what we actually want to do for the year. So that from
was
memory.
such a good
Brainstorm.
session.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
always
was
remember that
the
session.
first
It's
always
meeting is
very messy
always
in a way.
I
kind of
love
getting to
that.
meet each other and like forming friendships and whatnot, and also
In real life,
brains
guys.
In real life? Yes, Alva, in real life.
Because obviously some people were unaware of other committee people's existence while being part of the same committee for a year of
Throwing
online
shade.
meetings.
Well, maybe if
Throwing
those committee members
shade.
actually attended the Zooms, I would know them.
I was there, guys. I was.
You keep telling us
present.
that, man.
With your camera off?
Yeah, no, our trivia event, I remember that. And also, like, our online, like, whilst we also say, like, online, like, quarantine wasn't, like, the best, our online
We killed
event,
it.
yeah, it was cool.
We actually did. You promise.
Like, yeah, it was so fun. I mean, that trivia night,
Maybe
like,
he's
the
just, like,
online
Dorian
trivia
that.
was actually, like, pretty cool.
Did you get that donut box that Veronica got us?
yeah.
There we go. Anyways.
Oh, yeah, Dee, go, Dee.
Yeah,
Dee.
Yes, hello. I'm still here. Yeah, moving on.
Moving on back to the topic
where
we
was
were
I?
initially
I
talking
lost
about
my
before
train of
Alma got
thought.
sidetracked. We were talking about how we brainstorm things
Yeah,
and then from
brainstorming
that
events,
we vote
yeah.
on which ones we prefer
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
Like is what we did. We
Yeah.
brainstormed what events we'd like. Like we did the pottery class.
Yeah.
We said that we wanted to do that. We said we wanted to do a music thing. We even talked about doing a
Yeah.
food thing. And those are all sort of on the table of things
There
that
were
we will
like
be doing this year. And we've
40
got-
different, like 30 or 40 different
Yeah,
events
there
that
were
people
quite a few,
suggested.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then after that was a big voting process. So it's kind of
yeah. We went all, like, around in a table, yeah.
effect to plan and decide on what events that we're running that year. And then I think we selected 4 events or something like that.
and then
that
we sort
we're
of
gonna
know
run.
them down, and one by one we're sort of ticking them off. And then we're doing, but there's like one that we there's one that the hip hop one that is I think done
that we run
almost every year.
Yeah.
Where you know that was sort of like a definite
Fired
that we
Up.
were fired up that we're
Yeah.
doing like that we're going to be doing in November, I believe.
Yeah.
That was going to be fun.
Actually, yeah, that also, just so I remembered, we do a lot of trainings. We do a lot of professional
It's not
development.
just events. Yeah.
And
We've won.
how
We have one
about
next
that?
week, actually.
Yeah,
one
we do.
tomorrow.
No, tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
tomorrow.
The weeks are flying. See?
It is. Zoom
See,
in.
time flies when you're having fun.
I actually really like.
Which is another thing too with the
Yeah.
with the training. the fact that they give us the opportunity to train and learn new things, you know, whether it's pottery or the one that we're doing tomorrow, which I think is like sound production.
Sound engineering from sound engineering. So we're learning how to use like music production software and stuff like that.
And from that, once again, that's going back to the whole career advancement. Yeah. You're learning these new techniques. Something that I never, you know, I've done in high school. I've learned from my teacher who does it. Yeah. But I get to expand my skills outside of that, and you know, and sort of broaden that knowledge. Yeah. Which is really beneficial.
Yeah. And it's not just like limited to like music production and stuff like that. We actually did a first aid workshop last year or year before online.
It was last year, yeah.
And we're going to be doing another one this time, aren't we? I think we briefly mentioned something about it. I don't know if we're going to do it, but I'm pretty sure we mentioned something about doing it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the process, that's sort of how it starts. And then from there, we obviously pick which one we're going to do. For example, we picked the Soul Flame sessions. Yeah. And then we sort of, I think we broke off into groups at one point, didn't we? Yeah. We sort of said, okay, what is this going to entail? What is this Soul Flame session?
Kind of have a concept.
You know, what does it entail? You know, what kind of music is there going to be? You know, what kind of venue are we looking at? Inside, outside? You know, how much the ticket's going to cost? Is there going to be food? Is there not going to be food? You know, what's the date? And then once we've figured out all that sort of basic information, we then moved on. We sort of split off into groups. I think we did, we did social media. We did, looking at artists and promotion venues. And we sort of we broadened the topics that we had gotten already basic information on, and we went into more depth. And we sort of organized what we were doing from that. I remember we wrote a couple of things on paper. I was doing promotion. I think I was doing social media. And I, made a list of the things like we should, post this and then post this and post this. We organized that. Yeah. I think that was about 2 weeks leading up to the actual event. Yeah. And then from there, we just sort of held to what we sort of had organized in our groups at that time, all the way leading to that event. And then we all came together like an hour or so before the event. And we had a little group chat, saying like a little talk all together, sort of like a little, like not necessarily a brief overview of what's going to happen, but like a little sort of talk like, hey, this is happening now. And then we sort of just jumped in and did it.
Yeah. So basically we were building the event from the ground up and
and obviously we were working,
pretty cool.
Obviously we were working with Bundle Place. So they helped out a lot with organizing, chairs and lighting and all that. So we didn't have
engineers
and like things like safety,
first aid.
Yeah, first aid stuff that we had, usually if we weren't working with them, we'd probably have to fill out or write a safety statement, that kind of stuff. They were able to do that for us because we organized them to do that. We were very fortunate and able to get that sort of extra assistance.
But we obviously run a lot of events through Bundle, but if we're running an event like an outdoors event, maybe at the youth center, like the place we're currently at, then we organize everything there. Like we actually hire safety personnel and possibly even security and stuff like that.
We would do all of that ourselves, but before we just, we had that opportunity to get them to do it, which took a little bit off for us. Because if anything, we didn't have very much time to actually bring the event together. So the fact that we were able to make such a great event, with such a great turnout in such a small amount of time, I think it really worked well. Whereas with here, if it was to be here at the youth center, it'd probably be a little bit different. We'd have to have a little more time to organize because, we're the ones sort of doing that extra stuff that we had other people doing for us this one time. Which is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think just adding on to that, it's just the intricacies. You don't see this stuff like looking in.
No, you don't.
Yeah, just as a patron.
Tiny details that really make it run so smoothly. Well, that is our time for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Dhee. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening in to today's episode. And thank you, obviously, to Dhee and Jasmine, our amazing guests for today. But most definitely tune in for our next episode for the KC Youth Services podcast.